Hi everyone, this is DragonGJY. Today we're doing something different. This is an Ask Me Anything to celebrate 20k subscriber milestone on this channel. Thank you all for the exceptional love. I could never have imagined this back then, but here we are. Make sure you stay until the end as I have a giveaway to announce where you can win monthly cards. I picked some questions from the previous community post. Some of the questions are merged together or have been picked apart so that I can answer them in a better structure. So without further ado, let's get to it. PayAdex asks, how are you able to produce so many videos with such high quality so quickly? Researching the operators, animations, editing and recording seems like a work for a whole team. Well, there is a perk of making analysis for operators that was released in CN 6 months ago. I have the time to play with them, see how they fare in the meta environment, and of course, have all the necessary data to present. I don't take all the credit. A lot of the mechanics are publicly available on the CN Arknights wiki, prts.wiki. I know people who are familiar with the game's coding, so I can double check with them, and there are also conclusions which may have been drawn and acknowledged. My video is just a compilation of collective research with my input, but putting the information together and writing the full script is definitely the most time-consuming part. For editing and recording, I do take the easier approach of putting the info in PowerPoint and just recording the presentation slides as output. It allows me to skip typing and animating things in video making, and it is 10 times easier to do them in PowerPoint instead. I just need to put in game footages in the final edit, so yeah, it's definitely massive efforts. It would usually take me about 30 to 40 hours of screen time from start to finish, but at least I have optimized the process to make it easier for myself. And unfortunately, yes, it's currently all done by myself. Next, Aladia V97 asks, have you used Silence Altar? How does she fare on damage and healing departments compared to other like core casters and single target healers? So first of all, never expect damage from Abjuras. In fact, the problem with Abjuras is that they do nothing off skill. I get that the design principle is to let them provide sanctuary, do some damage when it's easy, and reserve the good healing for when it gets tough. But in reality, the final iteration of this concept ends up being their damage is negligible, and their healing in skill wasn't that much higher than medics or even guardians. Not gonna lie, I think Silence Altar is pretty okay. Her skill 3 is actually very good. Her situation right now is because players still tend to prefer standard healing, not to mention that we have survival titans like Aya Altar, Nightingale, or Shu, who have basically filled in any need for survival in different contexts. Aladia also asks, what is your happiest memory regarding your channel and its community or Arknights in general? So for this question, I really can't forget when I started Operator Hindsight. I got to like 10,000 subscribers at a really fast speed, and this series really just blew up. And also shout out to my Discord server members. Even though I don't have a lot of time to chat around, you guys give the warmest support to drive me forward. I never had much community experience, so I really love the part as well. Next, Beastmund Grey 9578 asks, what inspired you to make highly detailed character reviews as opposed to making them simple and quickly digested? In fact, I was kinda surprised that there weren't such detailed breakdowns in the Yen side of things. It started out as a difficulty back when most of my contents are still about modules. Sometimes when I explain what a module does, it just feels weird to put it outside of the operator's talent and its skill designs, because modules, in my opinion, is a crucial part of an operator's kit. So when Yi left the scene, I was like, maybe I could try making analysis myself. I didn't do it in CN because there are already a handful of creators doing God's work. The concept of making use of the 6-month gap to provide more refined information, plus the nature of modules, which potentially comes a bit later after release, solidifies the idea of bringing such a series to life. That said, I do like to further improve my series by making the delivery more concise, which is the hardest part for me as a non-native English user. We'll see how that goes. Next, we have KA4685 asks, from all characters that already released, who do you think has the best and worst overall kit mechanic design? So I've heavily stressed this in the Operator Hindsight video. I think the kit design for Wis'adel is actually very good. Explosion mechanic that takes advantage of the flinger trait, summons that protect her and keeps enemy together to help her do more splash damage, etc. Personally, I would propose 2 minor changes to make her more balanced. 1. Reduces her attack scale from skill 3 by a bit so that the main damage in skill is her explosions instead of her main attacks, and she has to rely on her summons applying after image between attacks to get more damage, which also cuts away some of her gains from attack speed buffs. 2. Only allow her to keep 1 summon after skill 3. Like I said, her damage wasn't a massive jump up from the previous physical damage ceiling Winar, but what she can do off skill is just absurd. For notable mentions for best kit design, I'd say maybe Executor Alter, Lin, and Zuola. I'll give my vote for worst kit design to Fartooth. The trait of the sharpshooters is already not the best, but she's given shackles in every possible way. Skill 2 sounds like a pretty good way to deal with mobs around the map, but it does not have attack multipliers and can only attack blocked enemies. Just look at GG, look at Lapland Alter, Alpienus, see how far they can reach with little to no limitation. Skill 3 feels cool by concept, but she only gets damage increase for enemies beyond her original range, so you have to pray for enemies to not get close, despite her having 4 tiles in front of her to start with. Fartooth just struggles to find a tile and still hits a dog that runs by instead of the target in the distance that you're looking for. And that continues with her modules. Her 2 modules are Egg Fried Rice and Rice Fried Egg. And why is it damage scale, not attack scale? I have no idea. It's been 3 years, and I still can't wrap my mind around her design. Next, we have Shirai Shin 3821 asks, will you do impact rating on all operators, or maybe an infographic, or at least on where all operators stand currently, like how does year 1 operators compare to the newer ones? I actually once had the idea or the plan to give a rating to every 6-star operator, but 1, I find that I don't really have the time. I have an in real life job, so for each month, I will spend like half of it making Operator Hindsight, and every other 2 months, I'll get a month where there are 2 Operator Hindsights rating, sometimes make it 3. So yeah, unfortunately, I have to admit that the Operator Hindsight series has taken out most spare chances for extra content from me. This video you're watching right now is a miracle already. 2. My rating system is an evaluation of their performance currently in the game. Some of the ratings that I gave out in the series, so that's within the span of 1 year, could already use some changes, like Typhon, who I gave 7 and 6 back then, but if I were to rate her again now, I would probably only give her 6 and 5 max. So if I were to make a sheet to rank all the 6-star operators, then I will also need to keep it updated, and it gets out of hand really fast. I've had that experience with my module sheet, where I look back from time to time to find some pretty bizarre takes and change them, and it's hard to keep up. If you guys are interested, maybe I can make a meta review to talk about how it has changed in this year and how some operators in this year has been affected. I don't want to make a full list of ratings. It will turn into a tier list that gets spread to every corner of Reddit and Discord really fast, and I hate to be responsible for that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Next, we have some questions about me. Pathopole9644 asks, want to vote on what is your starting major? Putting out Manhattan distance with Shu, angular speed with Civilite Eterna, and straight up simulate Logos talent trigger must be someone involved in science. Also, what's your job? So my major in college was biotechnology, so in case you are wondering, I don't actually know many of the terms before having to introduce them in the video, barring some math or Python. But yes, I was involved in science education. I'm a graduate from the School of Science. My job is also related to the field. Not gonna go into details, but it is a job that also needs the dedication. Next question from Pepeco2595. Do you play any other gacha games besides AK? And also there are questions about how I started Arknights and whether I will bring my content to Envy or other games. So I'll answer them all together in this one. So my first gacha or mobile game was Onmyoji, a round-based RPG. It's a game with heavy social elements including team PvE and PvP gameplay. I really liked the game back then, but then over time I just can't take the PvP side of things and the socialing part of it gets tiring as well. And that also marked my encounter with Arknights. I joined the game 2 months after its release, so I didn't miss out too much. I really like the gameplay and surprisingly, its storytelling. The character building is straightforward, which leaves room for discussing their designs and mechanics instead of never-ending grinds. I had a good time being in the CN community, and it was the game that stayed with me during the pandemic. And uploading random Arknights videos to YouTube was the start of something that I hadn't thought of. I'm grateful for being here, where I am right now. I just wish that the schedule wouldn't be this crazy. It's getting intense for me. And for other games, other than those 2 that I played, I actually played a good amount of Genshin Impact. Honestly, I like the open world concept in a gacha game. For me, I play gacha because I know they can provide consistent storytelling. I'm just getting too old to wait for cliffhangers that got abandoned over time due to traditional games failing their new installments. That happened way too often. And for Genshin, I had a period of time where I grinded non-stop, I think also during the pandemic. I welled a lot in the game as well. I think I have all the 5-star characters and weapons up until this year. After that, I just got busier in real life. I didn't even feel like doing dailies. The story was also sort of losing me, and I just stopped playing after getting Furina. I hadn't played any others since then. I do keep an eye out for new games, but currently my gacha cup is pretty empty. Many of you asked about MPhil and just whether I would bring the deep dive content to other games as well. The straight up answer should be I don't know. From my perspective, like I said, I don't think I even have enough time for just Arknights alone. So for now, it's not looking likely, but we can't tell just yet. MPhil feels pretty fun to me in the last test, and there should still be some time before it actually comes out, so who knows. Next, we have Chago Z4S. If I'm not wrong, English is your second language and you also study a good number of other languages, right? Not right, actually. Could you tell us how is your relation with language learning? Do you have a specific language that you want to learn now? This question also goes with others that ask where I'm from. I'm from China, and yes, English is my second language. We have a 9-year mandatory English curriculum here, and growing up, I watched a lot of English guides that helped me when I played games. I also went to Hong Kong for college, so that's how I become at least serviceable with English. I say serviceable because I have yet to use it in a spoken context. I still only pick up words, phrases, and expressions from online testing, and the only way to practice right now is YouTube. I still struggle with organizing sentences without a script. I think streaming more should help me with that, and I really wish I could do that more often. So for other languages, obviously Mandarin is my mother tongue, but I also speak Cantonese natively, so I got a head start being able to speak 3 languages now. 其实我现在也没有在学很多种语言，因为其实无论如何，语言学也完全不是我的主业，然后工作其實也只需要書面嘅英語能力就可以啦。所以其實我而家唯一有學嘅語言呢，其實係日語，因為其實作為東亞人，你好難講你冇受到日本文化影響咯。But unfortunately, unlike English, it wasn't something mandatory and mainstream that I need to pick up daily, so it wasn't as easy as English. 今は日本語をパートタイムのコースで勉強しているけど、やっぱり時間が足りなくて全力で勉強するのは難しいと思う。まだまだ時間がかかりそうだなって感じ。So overall, learning a language is just a long-term goal for me, and even with English, I'm still actively practicing to get better. Next, let's do a bit of a lightning round for some quick answers. Question 1. Why pick Ifrit as your avatar? It was a sketch that I did back in the day and I stuck with it. I can't really draw, by the way, it was a half-copy drawing. I do like Ifrit and her character writing, so yeah, you can count her as one of my favorite characters in the game. Next, who's your favorite character and why? My favorite character in the game, if you mean the favorite, then it should be Skadi. I really like the concept of introducing her altar as a sneak peek of what's possible and then continuing the narrative of what's gonna be. A very neat storytelling and I absolutely love it. Next, who's your favorite non-6-star operator in the game? I really liked Reed back when she was still a 5-star. So if I have to pick another, maybe I'll go with Platinum. I told you guys that's the thing, has good taste. Next, what do you think is the archetype with the most potential in the game, including range, damage, trade, attack interval, and not the operators inside it? Well, definitely Executus. Next, do you like cats or dogs more? This is very important. Well, with your profile picture and username, I think you are expecting a particular answer, but regardless, I'm definitely a cat person. Next, do you think that it's too late for new players to catch up in this game today, considering they just missed a lot of OP operators and banners? Well, I think not at all. They can still finish the other game with any given roster, and to be honest, the process of clearing levels with a struggling roster is the best part of this game. The second best part is being spooked by off-banner characters that you actually want. It's an experience you can rarely find in other gacha games these days. Okay, due to time constraints, that's all the questions I will be covering in this video. Thank you all again for the input. There are more very good questions, but you know me, I may end up writing a whole essay for them. Maybe next time. Now, let's talk about the giveaway. To participate, you can find the link to a Google form in the description and in the pinned comment. I want to invite all of you to be a judge of Operator Hindsight by giving a retrospective rating to operators released in the year that has just passed. It's also split into daily and advanced ratings like my videos. I want to do this because I'm interested in finding out the collective take of all of you. You don't have to have gotten the operator and played with them, just evaluate based on your game sense. I strongly suggest you do not refer to my videos or even try to record my ratings, just give it your own shot. Maybe I'll put them in a later video to report the results. That said, I hope you can still take it seriously when you fill in. Finish the survey and I will pick one winner from all participants to give out a monthly headhunting pack and 2 winners a monthly card. The survey and the giveaway ends on January the 10th, and I will reach out to the winners with the contacts you provide. That's gonna be the end of this video. Thank you all so much again for the 20,000 milestone. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye bye.